living in a Western country, you can feel like you're alone or something like that. Like I felt the opposite. Obviously, like when I looked myself in the mirror, I wasn't the happiest. Like uh I didn't feel comfortable. So I was like, okay, I don't care. I'm gonna get my six pack. Eventually, I got results just because I was consistent. So, yeah, my confidence went from nothing to very much. When I got my six pack, and I was like, okay, if I got this, then I can definitely get bigger. As a vegetarian, how can you gain muscle? And if I was asking someone, they were always like, you need to eat meat. And what started to happen is that people started to say, it's like Chakde to me. And in the back of my head, I was like, I want to have some brand. But I was like, okay, if I want to be something, I need to go up to a place where there's already people that has become something.
My guest today is a fitness influencer, a personal trainer, an entrepreneur, and the founder of Chakde from Stockholm, Sweden. Welcome, Onkar Singh. How are you doing, brother?
Thank you so much. That intro sounds really good.
Yeah.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you. I've been at work today. I woke up at like 5-ish, so I'm pretty tired right now, but I feel like I'm in a chill mode right now, which is really nice.
Yeah, we're like a nice chilled conversation on a
Yeah,
Sunday evening. um,
exactly.
what I like to do at the beginning of every podcast is basically ask about your upbringing, your how you were raised, where you were raised, and things like that. Because I know you're from Sweden.
Yeah.
So what was that like growing up in Sweden, and what was your childhood like?
Uh oh, okay, we have to go back. So my childhood actually was, I would say, it was the best part of my life. Like, um I grew up in this city actually, where I'm living right now, in Tumba, which is south of Stockholm. And I have three siblings, which are all older than me. First I have my sister, the oldest, and then I have a brother, and then another sister, and then it's me. So
Boy, girl,
yeah,
or girl, boy,
exactly.
even.
Yeah. So I was surrounded about with a lot of people, and like Upper Bande, which felt really nice. I didn't feel like I was, you know, living in a Western country. You can feel like you're alone or something like that. Like I felt the opposite because I was surrounded like Gurdwara community and friends that lived nearby, like my family friends. They always came over. We always went to their house. So it was like very easy for me to grow up as a Sikh, as a Punjabi. There wasn't any issues. Um, and the biggest, like the best thing about the whole thing is actually that I went to from kindergarten up to, I don't know, do you say kindergarten or
Yeah, I think we have nursery in the UK, but kindergarten, everyone knows kindergarten
everyone
because
knows? Yeah, okay. So, yeah, so from that up to sixth grade, I went with a Punjabi friend of mine. So we basically grew up together,
yeah.
inside and outside of the school. Like we were together 24/7, and that felt really good. Like, no one would pick on us because we were two. Obviously, if someone said anything to me, he backed me up, I backed him up, and eventually everyone stopped because it was like, okay, there's no meaning with, you know pangelani na. And what was even better is that, before us, my brothers, my sisters, his brother, sister went to that school. I went to the same, like, secondary school, everything. So all the teacher, the principals, they knew like who Sikhs are, and there wasn't any issue. Kids has issue with patake or gutiya or whatever. Um, Luckily, I didn't have any of it, and so I would say like my growing up has, like, looking back, I'm so happy with with my childhood and where I came from.
Yeah, I feel like everywhere you go, there is sort of there's always that sort of fear, isn't there, of just sticking out. Like even in the UK,
Yeah.
there is a lot like there is a big Sikh community up and down the country. Not so much in Newcastle where I'm from, but obviously like down
Mm.
south when you go to London, Birmingham, it's quite
Yeah.
popular. And like I think everybody knows there's a big Sikh community there. But when I was at school, I had a Gutti as well, and it is although people know of Sikhs, it's still kids are going to be kids. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah, that's true.
if you're going to get picked on, it doesn't matter if you've got a batka or you're just fat. Which unluckily for me, I was both.
Yeah, okay.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter which one they were going to pick. They were going to pick something.
Yeah.
Um, you spoke about it there, like there was a Sikh community in Sweden. I was unaware of this, obviously, until more recently. You posted a lot of photos of the farmers' protests on your Instagram stories when
Yeah.
the rally occurred.
Mm.
Is has there always been quite a big Sikh community in Sweden?
No, 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 it hasn't. Like my dad and like that's dad was like one of the first here. And oh, actually my dad, so my dad's older brother, he was the
Mhm.
first one together with a few people, and this was in the 80s, I think. Yeah, I think 80s, maybe like late 70s. So and there were just a few people that came together and was like, okay, let's have a gurdwara. Everything started with a small house, like a cabin type, and then it just grew and grew, and now it's now, their relatives are bringing their people here, so it's hardly it's getting more and more. Still not even close to Norway or Denmark. I would say they are still more than we are. um, but we are growing slowly, slowly. So we are a bunch of people now. Like when you are in the Gurdwara, like it's a lot of people. We need a bigger Gurdwara now.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
good.
yeah,
Most of the time it feels like when immigrants go from India to other countries or any immigrants in general, they tend to gravitate towards the capital because that's probably where most of the money is. So
yeah,
obviously you say that you're close to Stockholm.
yeah.
Is there other little sections of Sweden that also have
So
any?
yeah,
Mhm.
I would say the second two biggest cities, which is Göteborg and Malmö,
Yeah,
and both of them are south of Sweden. So Stockholm is the most northern. Like if you go up more than this, it becomes like pinned everywhere. Like it's not really a big city anywhere.
yeah,
So where is the most jobs, the most industries, the most, it's in the biggest cities. So I would say that's why Stockholm is one of them. And then the thing is why we aren't as big as other countries. I would say it's the language barrier. So for people to coming here from India, they already know a little bit of English. So of course they will go to Canada, US, and because they don't need to, learn a whole new language. So I would say that's why maybe Scandinavia is a little bit behind this everyone else. So, but yeah, slowly, slowly, it's just getting bigger and bigger.
yeah. Like the language is a funny one. We were just speaking before about. I was
Yeah.
trying to do an intro in Swedish, and I googled the translation. I was like, I'll skip that today. It seems like it's got a bit of like it's got a few things like so when I put and it's N, which is similar to French, but then it
Oh,
also
okay.
had
Yeah.
like a bit of German sort of in there as well. I don't know,
Yeah,
like
it's a lot of mix, like Norwegian, Danish, Swedish, German. Uh, like German is close to Danish.
mhm.
Danish is close to Norwegian. Norwegian is close to Swedish.
Right.
So, like when Danish people talk, I don't understand anything. But
Okay.
but I do understand. They understand me more, and I understand Norwegian, and Norwegian understands Swedish. So it's like, it's close, but
Yeah.
still it's hard to understand. Like German, when they talk, I'm just like, huh? Like what? So but yeah, it's influenced a little bit from here and there, obviously. Like Swedish, we have some words from English as well. So it's all mixed, a mix.
A mix, yeah.
Yeah,
Because that was a question I was going to ask, is if all three of them can understand each other. Because obviously, going back to like India, when people speak Urdu, Punjabi, Hindi, they're all
yeah,
quite similar, but they're slightly different. But you can
yeah,
understand each other.
yeah.
That is very interesting. Another thing that I think was on your story maybe in December was that the entire month of December has no sunlight in Sweden.
Yeah, not that is not like it's not very common that it doesn't have any sunlight. Like we do
Right.
have,
Okay.
but just that month, was it month or was it weeks? I don't know. I don't remember what I said.
I think it was I wrote down month, so
Yeah, it could be a month.
yeah.
Like basically what it was is that during that period is the shortest days we have.
Hmm.
So the sunrise is like at 9 something, and sunset it's like 10 vaje or like 2:30 or something like that.
Yeah.
And during this time, like we could have sun obviously, but it was so cloudy and rainy, so we didn't have any sun.
Oh no.
So yeah, that's the reason. Like one whole month, and I was like, "Are you serious?" Like, and then when because you don't realize, 1 month, you just be like, you wake up, you're like, "Okay, it's dark and it's dark," and you just get into this depression, and you feel like you don't have any energy. I'm like that. Like if it's sunny outside, I'm like, boom, I have so much energy and I want to do stuff. As soon as it get darker, I get darker.
Yeah.
So that period it was dark, and yeah, so yeah, that really happened. It's not common, but it happens. And on the other hand, in the summertime, it's like from 4 in the morning to like 12 in the night, we have daylight.
Okay.
So that is awesome. Like then you
Yeah, yeah.
forget all about winter. You're like Sweden, yeah, this is awesome. Like, you don't even realize there's such this so long day. You do so much. You're outside all the time, and so yeah, summertime is awesome. I was like, if you guys want to come to Sweden, come summer times, and you won't want to go back
Yeah, yeah.
until it get darker. You will be like,
Until
okay,
it's
bye.
winter. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's something that we're going to touch on a bit later on is obviously fitness, but I imagine you'd be having to take a lot of vitamin D supplements during the winter
yeah. I
time.
mean, vitamin D, we start as soon as possible, like because the vitamin is important for your immune system. It's and because of we don't get the sunlight, we need the vitamins. So that's like super important. And so, but you want to go get into that later, or you want to?
I've got a bit like when we talk about fitness, we could talk about a
Yeah,
bit of nutrition and
yeah. We
supplements
go
and
into
things
that
like that.
later.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing, well, linking to immune system and vitamin D is COVID. Obviously, it's not been very nice for the past
Yeah,
12, 13 months now. It's not been
yeah.
very good. Has Sweden handled it well, or like how's it been for you?
In my opinion, is that Sweden has been like one of the worst countries of
Oh,
how
really?
how they yeah how they handle this situation. The thing is, of course, everyone will have their own opinions of what's right and wrong. But like if we look at the world right now and we see like, okay, who is the most successful in this, we talk about countries like New Zealand, Taiwan, like Singapore, like they close down everything. No one goes in, no one goes out. They handle they were looking at, okay, where's the problem, okay, quarantine, stuff like that. They did everything that was necessary. Sweden, in the other hand, was like, okay, let's see what happens. It
Right.
was more like, okay, let's, because they really they care about their economy.
Yeah.
They were scared about, okay, if we close everything down, there won't be any export import, and the economy will go down. So right before corona, the the crown, like the Swedish crown, currency,
Right.
went up, like first time like very long, like, so it's more valuable than euro right now,
Okay.
and it hasn't been for a very long time. So my thinking and some of my friends is like, okay, they didn't want to lose that, So they were like, okay, let's just see what happens. And they had this good idea about, I don't know what to call in English, but it's like, they wanted people to have that so they get immune. So they start like, we call it flock immunity, and that
Oh
means
yeah,
like,
herd immunity.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, that was their goal. But you know, because because of they didn't lock down, people came back from, like, people, so many people were in Italy, when it was so much in Italy.
Yeah.
Swedes, they were there going skiing, they came back, and brought COVID with them.
Hmm.
And instead of checking them at the airport, giving them hotels like every good country has done,
Yeah.
uh, they were like, okay, go back home and stay inside. Like, that was their rule. Like, don't
Yeah.
go outside, go back home. And then you can ask, like, okay, how are they gonna get home? Yeah, they're gonna go buses, they're gonna take taxis, and they're gonna meet people.
Hmm.
So that's just what happened. They met people, and that happened. And sadly, the virus got into, uh, elderly homes.
Yeah. Yeah. Elderly
Yeah,
homes.
and we lost so many like older people.
Hmm.
So like, and still, I think we're like sixth place of most cases in the whole world, in if you look at, population.
Right. Okay.
So my opinion, Sweden handled it really, really bad. And they were like so slow at everything. Like, I think like 3 days ago, I was at the gym. First time that they did, like, between, treadmills, they did like,
Plastic
uh
barriers.
like 2 3 days ago.
Wow.
Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know
Exactly. A year
Everyone
into
was
it.
like laughing about it, but are you serious? Like, "Hornjet tanu," you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, and now, when England, UK had like another virus,
Yeah.
now they closed for from Denmark and England, so no one can get here from England. But so they learned something, I guess. Like,
Hmm.
they realized, okay, we can't do this. Um, so yeah, that's basically my opinion. I'm not so proud.
Yeah. To be fair, like, what when you were speaking there, I can just see so many parallels between how Sweden handled it from what you're saying and England handled it,
Yeah,
like exactly the same. So we waited way too long,
yeah,
prioritized the economy first. All elderly homes got like
yeah.
riddled with this virus. It wasn't very nice. And there is a lot of similarities from what you're saying.
Mm.
But
And
as
you
you
guys have
mentioned,
so many cases.
we I think passed over 100,000 deaths recently, which is crazy. Yeah, yeah. Like within the past couple of weeks. But it's like you mentioned there, we have a new strain, but Denmark also had a new strain early, like
Yeah,
a few months ago, didn't it? So
yeah,
did you lock off from them straight
yeah.
away? Right.
Straight away. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no one from Denmark can get here, and no one from Sweden can go to Denmark.
Yeah, that's similar to us right now because we've got this new strain, and you're not supposed to, like, nobody's supposed to come in or leave.
Yeah.
But then if you're an influencer, then you can go to Dubai and take photos because it's part of your
Wow.
job. So it's a
Yeah.
weird one. There's a lot that it's
Yeah.
this debate happening in the UK at the moment. It's on, like,
Mm.
like morning news TV. It's
Yeah.
on like morning news TV. They get an
Mm.
influencers who are video calling from Dubai saying, "No, it's part of my job. I have to be here to take photos." It's a
Yeah.
very controversial topic at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, one of my mates though, he moved to not Dubai, New Zealand, maybe a year and a half ago.
Mm.
While we were entering our first lockdown, they'd basically got rid of the disease entirely. So he was
Yeah.
back to work while we were entering our first lockdown. It's absolutely crazy to see,
Yeah.
like, what strong leadership does.
Yeah. Exactly. And the thing is, the problem in Sweden is that, and probably most of the countries, is that they can't make a decision. Like, they have to, like, make a process. Okay, this is our suggestion, and
Mhm.
then they need to process. Okay, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And during that period is, it's already over.
Yeah.
So, it's some. I think they should have like a crisis team that can make decisions. Like, they don't need to ask anyone. They
Mhm.
just do what they think is best. and then just execute. But
Yeah,
I don't know, democracy in these Western world countries, everything need to be on paper, which is good. Like
yeah,
obviously it is good, but it feels like we need another thing that goes a
yeah.
little bit faster in this.
Yeah, I agree. But it's a very delicate thing, isn't it? So we see in India at the moment with the farmers' protests what
Yeah,
abusive power can be.
yeah, exactly.
And so it's not good whatsoever when that sort of side of things happen. So it's a very
Hmm.
delicate thing because who's to decide what's a crisis and what's not? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
At the moment,
yeah,
like if a mass protest happens in these Western countries, like in America when BLM happened,
yeah,
if them powers were in place there, maybe they could decide that that wasn't a crisis and they could shut down or
yeah,
go into martial law. It's
yeah.
very complicated. It's a fine line between like equality and like, well, not equality, just like in a complete abuse of power. Did you
Hmm.
mention gyms have been open throughout all of like the past year, or have they been
Yeah,
closed at any point?
no.
Oh, really?
There was one gym, like gym. What do you like? We
Like
have
a
different
chain?
gyms.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like a
gym
chain. Yeah.
chain. One that was like we're gonna close it for 1 week or something, 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, no one else did it, and so they had to reopen as well because people were like, "Hey, why are you? I want to
Yeah.
cancel my membership if you're gonna do
Yeah.
this."
Yeah.
So they opened back it up, and so yeah, it's never been closed.
Yeah.
Like
Everything over
the
here is
government
closed.
always said, like, don't go there, don't go anywhere if you don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
But people are like, I need to go to the gym, so you can't really. You have to tell people that you can't do this. Like it need to be a strict rule, otherwise people will go.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they just shut everything down here. Like no
Yeah,
gyms,
I heard.
no pubs, no restaurants, no this cinemas. Everything basically got shut down.
Yeah,
Even now, they're still shut down now.
yeah.
Because we when that new strain came about just before Christmas, I think they basically just
Hmm.
locked everything off then. So
But even with all that, you guys still have so much cases. Like, how is that possible? Like, if everything is closed.
yeah, I have my own theories on why I don't think a lot of people are paying attention. I feel like the first time it happened, the first lockdown, although it was bad, they enforced it really like too harshly.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
the numbers weren't like correlating the strictness of the lockdown, and now
Mm-hmm.
it's like, do you remember? Do you know like the kid story of like the boy who cried wolf?
Yeah.
Like when you scream
Yeah. Yeah.
wolf and
Yeah.
then there's no wolf, and then eventually you scream wolf and a wolf's
No
there.
one cared.
Yeah, now I think it's like it is actually getting serious, and no one's
Mm.
actually paying attention to it.
Mm.
But that's my personal opinion, and it's a controversial topic, so no
Yeah.
no doubt somebody will disagree
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, like a couple of my mates here who have got gyms have the past years been really tough because obviously they've just had to close basically for an entire year, and the new year typically is quite the
Yeah.
busy period for most personal trainers and gyms, and he's had
Yeah.
to close,
Mm.
which isn't fun. The plus
Yeah.
side is that he had like online sort of thing going for him, so he can
Oh,
transition,
that's nice.
which is
Yeah, that's
decent.
good. Yeah, I started to do more and more online as well.
Yeah, I noticed. And well, actually, we're talking about fitness, so we may as well talk about how you started getting into fitness. I seen that you were a bit chubby back in the day.
Yeah, yeah, I was.
Yeah, is that the
Um,
reason why?
so it's all like I always been into sports. Like I've loved sport as a kid. Like so, but I got into like the first time I went into the gym. I think I was like 16, and it was because my brother forced me. He was not because he like you're chubby, you need to work out. It wasn't like that. He was like, let's go. Come on, you're gonna go with me now. And I was like, okay, let's go. So he bought me a gym membership where he used to work as well. And I remember like he and his friend used to work out, and I was like, oh my god, this is so boring. I just want to go, I want to go outside and play football because that was what I love to do. So eventually I stopped. If I didn't want to work out, I wouldn't do it. So maybe I went like 3 4 times with him and then never again. And then when I was 17, and I saw my friend, the guy I was talking about earlier that went to school with me,
Yeah.
and he got this huge biceps. I was like, damn, tenuki ho gaya, nuki khanda. And he started working out with his cousin, I think it was. So he started before me. He started working out, and I was like, okay, ठीक है मैंने भी कुछ करना पड़ा. So I got a little bit motivated from that. And then uh, o- obviously, like when I looked myself in the mirror, I wasn't the happiest. Like uh I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't want to be shirtless. Like if we go somewhere, nah, no, to the beach or whatever, like I would rather say like, no, let's go here instead. So I felt like it's something that mentally is hard for me, so I need to do something about it. So I was like, okay, I don't care. I'm gonna get my six pack. Like that was the only thing I thought about. Like I'm gonna have a six pack. So at age of 17, I started working out and I started to read more about it. And I started to, as a vegetarian, how can you gain muscle? And if I was asking someone, they were always like, "You need to eat meat, neta kuch nahi banna," whatever. I was like, "Really though?" So I tried to figure out some stuff, and then eventually I got results just because I was consistent. I didn't have the best diet, but the key was that I was consistent. I went to the gym 4 or 5 times a week, no matter what. Even I did everything that by myself. Um, and then I got better and better, and it felt good. And I started to working out with my friend again, like the one. His name is Amarpal, so I don't have to say that guy. So Amarpal. So like in 7th, 8th, 9th grade, we didn't go together. We went from kindergarten to 6th grade, and then from gymnasium, like is it gymnasium?
Yeah, just gym, like working out. Yeah.
No, no. The classes after 9th grade, like high school, maybe it is. You call it high school or
Oh, okay.
university?
Yeah, high school. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So we went there together again. So we, as a like reunion, you can call it. So
yeah,
3 years, and those 3 years we worked out together, and uh, and yeah, we both got really good results. We were being happy about it, and then I got my six pack,
yeah,
which I was like, I did. You can see everything on my Instagram. I have like the highlights.
yeah,
I have
yeah,
highlights. So there's like my story where I go through everything. And so when I got my six pack, and I was like, okay, if I got this, then I can definitely get bigger. You know. So my goals just got bigger and bigger. I got more motivated, and I was just working for it. And then after these 3 years in high school, uh, I went to study university in another city in Sweden, and I started to working with 3D, computer stuff,
Oh,
building like
okay. Yeah, yeah,
3D,
yeah.
and I went there. It was a 3 years um, um, 3 years
Course.
course. But after 1 year, I was like, hell no, I can't do this. I want to be a personal trainer. So I quit like after 1.5 years or something. I was like, okay, this is not for me. Uh, at that time, you know, it felt like that, like, people just went inside and locked, like, had no lights from the windows and were just sitting in front of the computer.
Yeah, yeah,
While I was like, let me go. I want to go to the gym. That was the only thing in my mind. So I just felt like, okay, at this point of my life, this is not the right thing for me to do. This is not what I want to do. So I called home. I called mom, and I was like, Mom, I don't want to do this. And she was like, "Chup karke kar." she, she was like, "You only have 2 years left. Just do it, and then you can see." I was like, "Mom, I really don't want to do it." And they were like, "Okay, fine." So they came down, took my stuff. We went up, and this was like in August or something. And then in December, I got my personal training
certificate.
certificate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, that's what I want to do. And from that point, I worked as a personal trainer for like 5 or 6 years. I opened up my Instagram during that period of time, mostly because of myself. Like I wanted to, I just uploaded whatever I did, my PRs.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was
Document
basically
your
my,
progress.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It was basically my PR diary.
Yeah.
So the thing is, what I did is that I was like, okay, like let's say it's leg day. Then I went back and I see, okay, what is my PR say leg day? I'm gonna crush that. And
Yeah, yeah.
then I did, and then I uploaded it. So it just went back and forth. And what started to happen is that people started to say it's like Chakde to me.
Yeah.
That's how it started. It was like Chakde thing, you're doing amazing thing, you're strong, you look good. It was all Chakde, Chakde. And in the back of my head, I was like, I want to have some brand that I started, because every fitness and influencer you see, they always start with something.
Hmm.
Either they start to work with a brand or they make their own brand.
Yeah.
And for me, at my starting, I was like, okay, so let's, sponsor me someone, because I felt like I was at very high level when I was my strongest. I was really strong.
Hmm.
I looked good, had a good physique. So I was like, okay, someone will eventually sponsor me. I reached out to a bunch of companies, and Gymshark and stuff like that. At that time, Gymshark, like if you would just mention them, they will be like, hey, have a t-shirt, have a
Yeah,
bra,
yeah.
but for me, when I tried, I just get shut down for everyone, and I just felt like I'm trying to do something here, and I know that I have the knowledge, and what a brand wants you to have, I do have it, but still they're not giving it to me. And that's where I started. I was like, okay, enough. I'm not gonna run for anyone. Like, I'm gonna make my own brand, and that's it. And my goal there was like, I don't want anyone else feel the same way as I did,
Hmm.
left out, even though they have done everything that's necessary and are even better at than their competition, and still don't get the opportunity to make something out of it. I was like, okay, that's not gonna happen. And so I started thinking about the name, and then obviously I saw all these Chakde comments, and I was like, that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
We're gonna have it Chakde. So that's basically it. That's how it started.
Yeah. It is quite dope to be fair. Like I like the branding as well. Like it is very minimalistic, I guess is the right term.
Yeah,
I see that a lot, like as a theme throughout your Instagram page and
yeah,
your Chakade page, and even like your photography page. Everything does seem like
yeah.
quite in sync. Is that
Mm.
something that's big in Sweden as well? Just like a minimalistic type of vibe. It doesn't seem like there's too much clutter.
Uh, I don't know if I would. I'm not sure if because there's a lot of companies here that are like better bodies and stuff like that. Goes
Right.
around, and they aren't that minimalistic. They're like,
Right.
we're gonna show us everywhere. The better bodies is huge everywhere. The
Yeah.
brands and stuff. But for me, it was just like I didn't want to have anything that's like you know uh sing is king, or
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
huge, like g- Khalsa, or like I want something that's good for everyone. And
Mhm.
at the same time, I didn't want it to be too much fitness. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't want to have like fitness is just for someone that works out. No, Chakti is for everyone. Like, Chakti, what is the meaning of Chakti? You can say Chakti to anyone,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So it's a motivational phrase that came like Chakde Fatte. Like, that's
Yeah.
something that comes from Punjab. Like, that's our culture. It's like, it's doesn't matter if you're single, god, or old, young. Chakde means everything for everyone. So that's why I wanted the logo to be that as well. I want to see it in a 5-year-old kid and a 90-year-old having a t-shirt and still feel something for it. That was like my whole idea, and that's why the logo is quite simple, but at the same time you get stuck with it.
Yeah.
You like it somehow. And but yeah, but to go back to your question, like Sweden minimalistic, I think like more and more people are getting minimalistic. Like,
Hmm.
it's a trend now to be minimalistic. And
Yeah.
your Instagram is, it's clean and everything. And so yeah.
Yeah, you see that like there's like whole pages dedicated to like these minimalistic homes that you can just swipe
Exactly.
through and they all look so amazing, but they're like
Yeah.
50 million pounds in California, but there's like one piece of apple in the middle of the room or something.
Yeah, and you're like, wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's something calm about it. Like when
Yeah.
you look at it, you get like calm.
Yeah, because if you see everyone's the same, though. If they see a messy room, they're just gonna be like, "Oh no!" It triggers some people. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, if they
Exactly.
got OCD or something.
Yeah,
Whereas if you see a nice, like, clean room, then it's like,
yeah,
oh, it's a bit like peaceful.
yeah,
When
exactly.
you were first trading, not when you were in your brother and you sort of didn't like that time, but you started going with your friend and started getting more into it.
Mm,
I know you mentioned there your main aim was just for a six pack.
yeah.
But did you just focus purely on physique or did you focus on strength or until you reach your six pack? Is that when you started focusing on strength?
W- when I reached my six pack, I would say that's when I was like, okay, let's put on some muscle.
Right.
Because what happened is that I got really really skinny,
Mm-hmm.
just because I didn't have time to put on any muscle. Like I went straight from being a chubby kid to go down. So I think I was like down to 68 kilos or something,
Right.
which is really not much for me for my height as well.
Yeah.
uh, and then so but it was good because now I realized that okay, what I need to do, like it opened my eyes. Because if I started to like, I often get this question about people, they're like, should I do bulk or should I go diet, like what should I do?
Mm-hmm.
And basically, like, the right answer is that you should bulk, you should put on muscle. But at the same time, you will gain more fat. And if that is hard for you mentally, then it's not the right thing for you to do. Then you should go on a diet first. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what happened to me. What I should have done is to take the time, like be confident about how I look, don't care that much, and just work to get a better muscle mass, and
Yeah.
then go on a diet. That way, I would save so much time uh, with a whole like. I would put on muscle and I would go diet, and maybe I would be more satisfied with how I look. But
Yeah.
what happened is that I went on a diet, lost a lot of weight, looked really, really skinny, but I didn't have any fat. So I started to put on muscle slowly. So two ways that you can go, and you have to go whatever feels the best for you. That's what I usually say to my clients.
Yeah, that is the question that I was going to ask as well. Because when I first stepped into the gym, so similarly, I was quite chubby growing up, and then when I got into the gym, the first thing that I did was lean right down, like try to get skinny, basically, because
Mm,
that's what you want.
yeah,
But ever since I'd done that, like obviously you learn more when you're thinking, oh, I should have bulked up first. Like, do you know what I
exactly.
mean? Like, I
Yeah,
probably had a better chance of getting, uh, air quotations here,
yeah,
gains,
yeah,
and then have like a higher metabolic rate and be able to eat more calories and then lean down from that point.
yeah.
But I was speaking to Manj Singh, who's a bodybuilder that I did a podcast with recently as well,
Oh, okay.
and he's from a similar position as us, where he was also a chubby kid, and well, he was actually obese by his he self-admittedly,
Mm,
because I think he was like maybe 20 stone at around the age of 15. So I don't know how much that is in kilograms, but
yeah,
like
I'm not sure. I can Google it.
yeah, I think I think like 16, 17 is around 100 kg, so it's way in excess of that.
Oh, it's 130 kilos.
Yeah, so like at 15,
That's a lot.
16, yeah, he was
And
like
how old was he?
15, 16ish.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, yeah. But now he's like competed in bodybuilding competitions and things, like
Oh, wow.
fully went the other way.
What's
But
his name?
Manj Singh. He goes online as Lion Flex on Instagram.
Lion Flex
Lion Flex underscore, I think.
underscore. Yeah, okay. Manj Singh. Yeah, I see him.
Yeah, so that was his story. He documented it on YouTube as well, and we got to
Yeah.
talk about it on
Oh,
the
wow.
podcast.
He's a big guy.
Yeah,
He's
he's like
tall.
6'4", 6'5".
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But then when we were speaking, I had the same question because he also went lean and try to get skinny first and then build
Mm,
upon it. And he thought that it's actually probably beneficial to do it that way because then when you are bulking, you can actually identify areas properly.
Mm,
Like if he was saying that basically if you're covered in fat and you're trying to bulk, you won't actually be able to see the areas that you're trying to improve and things like that.
yeah.
So it's interesting to find everyone's different perspectives, because
Mm,
I think because I did do it that way, similar to yourself, in
mm,
my mind is always, oh, I should have done the other way. Like the grass is
yeah.
always greener, sort of thing.
Yeah. But the thing is, if I think about it, I'm happy that I went the way I did.
Yeah,
Like I wouldn't, like, still, if I go back, I wouldn't bulk at that moment,
right.
because if I bulked, I know that mentally I will be in a very, very bad situation, because I was already bad, and it wouldn't get any better.
Yeah,
So for me, I'm not in a hurry to, become something. Instead, I leaned out, and I was really happy with the way I looked, and then I started building from there.
yeah.
And to do it the other way around, it's like, if you're mentally strong and you're okay with being a bulk, and then yeah, do it. But for me, no, it wasn't for me.
Yeah, I feel like most of the big kids who get into the gym do it to lose weight. So the initial instinct is always to just lean right down, isn't it? To just
Yeah.
try to get skinny
But
as fast
the
as
thing
possible.
is, if you're like he was, 120 kilos,
Yeah.
like, to go around with that kind of weight, you
Oh
put on
yeah.
muscle.
Yeah.
He probably had like leg muscles and, strong back, because having that amount of weight to go walking around, like, imagine go walking out, imagine having, like, right now, having a vest on with that amount of weight, and then walking off stairs or something,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it will be really heavy. So he probably already had a bunch of muscle, and it was good for him to go on a diet.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, for him especially at that weight, like I was around 100 kg at around the same age, like
Yeah.
around 15, 16.
Mm.
Um, and so I tried to lean down. I think I got down to like 80, and then that's when I started trying to build up muscle again, because
Yeah.
I started to like fill out. I had my growth spurt and things. So,
Mm.
it was, yeah, but it is. It is. I always just ask everyone their opinion on it, because everyone always has their own perspective. The
Yeah.
information's the same. The
Yeah.
information there is like, if you look at it in a theory, like we were saying before, like you're probably gonna have a higher testosterone because you're younger,
Mm.
to be able to build muscle, and then you're gonna have a higher metabolic rate for when you do go lean. So it makes
Mm.
sense. But it's the external factors, like having a strong mind, that comes into it,
Yeah.
which is really interesting. What impacts do you think like the gym had on you? So like confidence wise, like when you were uh like chubby and things, do you ever suffer with it? Like you already said that you weren't happy looking at yourself in the mirror, but
Mm.
when you started to like lean down, get your six pack, how much of a confidence boost is that for you?
Like, huge.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, huge. I mean, I would say that it changed me. Like, honestly, it changed me. Like, now I'm like, I started to post pictures without my shirt on.
yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't care, it was like, I knew that people wanted to look like me. uh People at, like, local gyms here were asking for my help, was
yeah,
looking at me and be impressed, and wanted, help and stuff like that. I started to have clients. So the thing is, I knew that I know this, I can do this. So yeah, my confidence went from nothing to very much, I would say. So yeah, for sure, it helped me.
yeah, definitely. Again, similar. I think when you go to the gym, I feel like not only like scientifically with endorphins and all these things that are
Yeah.
getting released, so it gives you a confidence boost, but it is just more like the little changes you see in yourself
Mm.
when other people comment. When I think that the best thing is when you don't think you can lift something and then you end up lifting it, like long
Yeah.
term setting yourself a goal, then
Yeah.
you start like in your mind. I feel like doors start to open. And
Mm.
I don't know if that's like other people as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like, I remember when I did my first muscle up. Like,
Yeah,
I remember that time, like the time when it was, when people, like, it was starting to get like hyped about, everyone was starting to get hyped about it. And I was like one of the first in my gym for doing that. And when that happened, I was like, okay, what's next? you know
Yeah.
and then CrossFit happened, so I was like, okay, let's do CrossFit. I started to walk on my hands. I trying to do handstand push-up, pistol squats, like stuff that people start to be like, whoa, someday I want to do that. And for
Yeah.
me, I just looked like one after the next, one after the other. I was like, okay, come at me, come at me.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like you said, like when you do something, that opens a door for another thing. So for sure, that's true.
So would how would you describe your training now then? Because like you've said bodybuilding is probably the correct phrase for like your first initial getting into it was very much physique based. Then would you
Yeah,
say you transitioned into powerlifting, trying to get a bit more stronger? And you've
exactly.
mentioned CrossFit there as well. So do you
Yeah,
try to utilize a bit of everything or
yeah. The thing is, yeah, like I've been doing this for 10 years now, I think. And like you said, like it was bodybuilding first, and then powerlifting. I wanted to be stronger, and then CrossFit. I wanted
yeah.
to learn more stuff, and then after that, I started actually weightlifting.
Mhm.
So I start like Olympic weightlifting, and then after that, I was like, okay, now what? because because I felt like I had my goals like in each and everything, and then I was like, the level after that would be competing,
Right.
and that's something that never motivated me, never, not never. I didn't want to do it. That's just, I don't know, people always asked me that as well in the gym. They were like, okay, so when are you gonna compete? And okay, so what's happening? Are you training to compete or whatever? I was like, no, I'm just training for fun, for life, like. And so I started to, now I'm back to being like bodybuilder, I would say. That's because that was like my first interest, the first thing that I like to do. And now powerlifting isn't, I'm not into get stronger anymore, because for me, I've already reached a level where I feel that I was at the top.
Hmm.
And to be able to beat that, I know how much time and effort I need to put to get there.
Yeah.
Like it will be a full-time athlete to be able to get on that, because at that time I was a personal trainer. I was at the gym all the time. I
Yeah.
trained, some days I trained 2 times a day, like in the Svernu and in the evening.
Hmm.
And so I know the time and effort that, and food and money that goes into to get stronger again. And right now I just don't feel like I need to be that strong.
If you don't
uh
mind me asking,
yeah,
when you were at your strongest, what were your like lifts? What were your bench, deadlift, squat?
I did 250 kilos in
Dead.
squats.
Oh,
That was my
flipping out.
strongest.
Okay.
Yeah. And I did 230 kilos at deadlifts and 160 kilos at bench press.
Wow.
So that
That's
was that.
interesting how your squat was heavier than your deadlift. Normally,
Yeah.
your deadlift is
And
normally the
my
strongest.
legs are tiny. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, yeah.
They
Okay,
don't
not
sound like it.
tiny. I'm not gonna take away everything I built, but they're the part, they are the part that's are behind. And yeah, but I've always, like, my weight at that time was like 87 kilos or something like that.
Yeah,
So it wasn't like, if you look at what I lift and how much my weight was,
yeah.
it's crazy amount of difference. But so yeah, I don't, where was I forgot where I was. uh
That is relatively lean then when you're that
yeah,
strong.
you could see my six pack at that time. Like it wasn't like the clearest, but I did have a six pack. And so I just feel like right now to go back to that, like, it's possible, of course, but amount of time and I need to put in. Right now I just want to focus on Chakde. I want to focus on my YouTube channel. So it's basically other priorities right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. And the time and commitment it takes to do like powerlifting more seriously or bodybuilding more seriously is crazy. Like as I said,
yeah,
I've been speaking to quite a few people fitness orientated and it is there's a lot of
yeah. I
sacrifices that you
mean,
need to make.
yeah, for sure. I don't think people understand like how much, how hard it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like the thing is, I've always heard like, oh, you don't do anything else. Tu to gym hi jana hai. You know that's like a common thing, what people are saying, and they're like, yeah, but if I had the time, I would do it too. You know, that's the thing I hear, and that's just so much bullshit. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, like straight off, it's like I know how hard it is to go to the gym. Like what it take to every day to go to the gym, to be there 2 hours, to lift your weight, to do cardio, and not only that, to have your meal prep, to buy everything. It's expensive to be a bodybuilder. You need your supplements, you need your food, you need your proteins, and then you need your recovery. You need to think about your sleep, right? You need to think about not staying up late because you need your sleep. Like there's so it's basically a lifestyle. It's not only go to the gym 2 hours and come back.
Yeah.
You know, it's not only that, it's everything around it. Like I've said no to eat so many stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you know, at birthday parties, I've said no to cakes, I've said no to pizza, you know. And people be like, oh, tu to gym kari hai na, tu to ha kari hai na. And I'm like, bruh, if you only knew how hard it is. And you know, at one point I didn't actually see how hard it was because I loved it so much.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and but there was a period actually last year where I started to question everything. I was like, why am I actually doing this? Like, so if I can deadlift 230 kilos, what would happen if I do 235? Would it make a difference? No. Would people care more? No. Like I would have the same reaction from you right now if I said 235 or 230. You will still be like, "Wow, okay, that's right."
Yeah.
So to in order to do something even more, that would if I said like, "Oh, I had 300 kilos deadlift." And then you would be like, "That's bullshit." But so yeah, I was like I started to feel like okay, my motivation isn't to get stronger, so try to figure out okay, what is it that I need to do. And so when I was supposed to go to the gym, I didn't go to the gym. Like this was first time in my life I felt like I don't want to go, I don't feel like going, so I won't go. And the days I still went because I have like anxiety. I was like, no shit, I can't, I have to go.
Yeah.
You know, that day, those days when I did go, I understood what how hard it was for me to get here,
Mm-hmm.
how hard it was to go from home to gym, like what I needed to do with my mind to be able to get here. And people don't, and I took that for granted.
Yeah.
So when people told me like, oh, do the gym, and I was like, yeah, I know, that's the only thing I do.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, you can't say that to me. You can't make that sound so easy because I know how hard it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I'm not telling you तू तक अपना काम ही करिए ना, तू तो अपने काम ते जाना है. I don't say that to you.
Yeah.
So why do you say this to me? Like you went to high school, you took your degree to be able to go to the gym, to your job. Yeah, I stayed up late to search for Google, to search, okay, how do I gain muscle? How do I this and that? How do I recover? How do I do my stretches? Like, don't take this away from me by saying, oh, to the gym, Yana. Yeah, I love going, but it's still hard work. It's
Yeah.
really, really hard work that you will never understand because you haven't done it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get it. So
Oh no,
so
100% understand.
yeah, so that's like that. So I was actually happened while I went to last year. I went to the dip, first time in my life that I didn't go to the gym like in 10 years. And I started to realize like, oh God, man, you have done something really, really amazing that not all people can do. And I started to understand the value of it. And then eventually I started to realize like how much better I feel after going to the gym, not only because it's fun, but mentally I'm in such like better place afterwards. And I even started to do cardio after my workouts, even though I didn't go on a diet,
Yeah.
just because I loved it so much.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like I usually only went on doing cardio when I was on a diet because that's what you have to do. But when I was bulking, I actually missed it. I was like, I want to go, but
Yeah.
I didn't because I was like, yeah, yeah. But now I'm doing whatever I want to do, and I don't care. And that's like such a relief.
Yeah, that's it. That is literally. That's why I tried not to interrupt during any of that because I think it is very important what you said. Like, just because it's not the conventional doesn't
Mm,
mean that it doesn't require the same amount of education and more than anything, discipline.
mm.
Discipline is
Exactly.
the biggest thing when it comes to any sort of fitness. Like
100%.
you know that okay, maybe the 230 to 235 won't be as impressive, but if you
Mm.
keep on doing it, eventually it will be a 300 and that will
Yeah.
be impressive.
Yeah,
But
for
that
sure.
takes discipline. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like it's
And
it,
priorities.
and priorities, yeah, like it takes an immense amount of discipline, which I think is why anybody who goes to the gym understands the other people around them because they
Yeah.
know what it takes. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? When you first step foot in that, everybody's had that sort of anxiousness when or anxiety when they sort of get into the gym for the first
Mm.
time, when they're trying new things, whether it be weight loss or bulking up and
Yeah.
trying to stay consistent. That discipline is what makes everyone sort of unite. Like my
Mm.
friend who owns a gym here, who I've had on the podcast,
Yeah.
he goes, I'm not a motivated person. Like my motivation sucks. He goes, like
Mm.
he's got terrible motivation,
Mm.
but his discipline is what makes him like go to the gym every day. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? Like he goes, there's some days where you don't want to go. Obviously, there's some days where you might watch a video beforehand and to amp yourself up and all that stuff.
Mm.
But there's some days you're gonna hate it. But then
Yeah.
sometimes they're the best workouts
Yeah.
because you're using all this negative energy and
Mm.
then you're using that as like fuel
Mm.
to sort of propel yourself upwards, which is I
Yeah.
think is really good. Um, and then you reap the rewards afterwards. But
Mm.
I think like I was saying this to on another podcast, it's like it's a metaphor for life, isn't it? It's like
Mm.
when you think of life and you think of weight training, I think of it as the same thing. It's
It's the
something
same
that
thing. Yeah, it
yeah,
is.
you
Totally.
don't want to do it, but afterwards it's
Yeah.
so much better for you. You know,
Yeah.
you might have all this
You,
weight on your shoulder
yeah.
and it's going to be heavy, but you just got to push through it.
Yeah. The thing is, when I have my clients, I can easily tell how they are as persons when I see them work out.
Hmm.
Like so easy. Like for if I put a challenge on them and they're like, "Oof, no, I don't want to do this. Can we do something easier?" I instantly know how they are in life.
Yeah,
Like they rather back off from doing something than go after it and try to figure out how to do it.
yeah,
And then on the other hand, I've seen people that are like, oh, challenge me, I want to do something that I have never done before, and then they do it and they fail and they're like, I'm gonna do it until I stop, you know and you know you can really find out what kind of people they people are in the gym by just looking at them and seeing how they train.
yeah.
So yeah, for sure, I agree with what you say.
Um, yeah, it is really important. Linked to sort of the training aspect is we sort of touched on it a bit before with how expensive food and
Mm.
supplements and all these things are. What is your nutrition like? You said you were vegetarian. Are you vegan or just vegetarian?
No, I'm vegetarian.
Okay, yeah. So you still have
uh
like milk and things.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, okay. Because I had,
uh
I don't know if you're familiar with Azad Singh. He's from
yeah,
Birmingham. Yeah,
yeah,
so I had him on, and he's fully vegan, but for like
yeah.
6, 7 years now, I think. So
Mm.
quite a long time. What's your sort of calorie intake like, and what is your sort of main sources of protein as a vegetarian?
Mainly it's like soya, corn, tofu,
Mm, yeah,
dairy products, so milk, cheese, dairy, yogurt.
yeah.
Uh, um, what is called? ch- Um, it's like cheese, but it's like gold shorted. Yeah, what's it called? Ch- I don't
Uh,
know how to pronounce that, but it's like a sort of cheese
right,
that
okay.
it's like in a yogurt, but it's like chumps shorty
I don't know.
inside.
I
Wait,
can't.
I need to explain. Can I send it to you somewhere?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Send it to me on Insta.
It's actually really good. People should. It's good amount of protein there. Here, I can send it to the chat right here. You get it?
Okay, yeah. Oh, cottage cheese. Cottage
Yeah,
cheese. Okay,
there
okay,
we
yeah, yeah,
go.
yeah.
So So that, and then obviously protein shakes, protein bars. Uh, so yeah, mainly that's mainly the dal shole.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, so that's mainly what it is.
yeah. Like the older I get as well, I realize how beneficial like roti and things are. Do you know what I mean? Like I know Azad's a big advocate for eating roti and things, but
Mhm.
only when you start to realize yourself when you do like your own education. When I
Mhm.
say roti, I don't actually mean like the actual falca itself. I mean like the like traditional sort of cuisine. Do you know what I mean? Like
Indian
yeah,
food.
yeah, like
Yeah.
surely you mentioned there like
Mhm.
rajma and things like that as like
Mhm.
when you look how sort of good source of protein and they're relatively clean, you get a lot of micronutrients in them as well. It
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
really decent.
you do. Of course, you do get it, but to get the amount of protein from that you need to be able to put on weight, you need to eat so much of it.
Yeah, yeah,
Now that's the problem. Like I know a lot of people are like comparing um, broccoli. What you call broccoli?
yeah. Broccoli.
Is broccoli? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
with so they put like these diagrams with broccoli and then chicken, and then compare like 100 grams of this has this much protein and 100 grams this. But then you have to realize, okay, how much of 100-gram broccoli
yeah.
would be,
The
right?
volumes, yeah,
Yeah,
crazy.
Sarah, you will have like this big plate and just eat broccoli. Instead, you can have just this amount of chicken and have the same amount.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's fair to have that kind of comparison, but
Hmm.
obviously people do it for likes and views and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, Indian food is not bad. I'm not saying anything about it. Like it's very raw. Like everything is made from natural ingredients. It's
Hmm.
nothing made up, mixed up. So yeah, you should. It's not bad, but if you want to get optimum result on a diet, for example, where you need your amount of protein and you need everything measured, then I wouldn't recommend roti. I wouldn't recommend Indian food uh, as your main source of food.
Yeah.
But then you can have like your soya and then have gajarandi sabji with it,
Yeah.
obviously,
Yeah.
because that could be your carbs, right?
True. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so if you use your Indian food as carbs, go for it, but don't use it as protein, like your main source of protein.
So
That's my opinion.
do you have to supplement with a lot of like whey protein and protein bars and things like that then?
Uh, on my diet, I only
Yeah.
have the whey protein,
Right.
like
Okay.
in shakes, like I just had right here.
Yeah.
But when I'm bulking, then I go for bars as well because they have a lot of calories in it, and it's it's good. Swad lagda, eat it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
They're
yeah.
getting nicer, aren't they? They used to taste like chalk back in the day. Like
Yeah,
used to
yeah.
taste like mitti back
Muh
in the
check
day.
the enter but yeah, now they're getting really good. It's like chocolate.
Yeah. Yeah. What's your favorite protein bar?
We have in Swedish they call bear bells. Uh,
Bear Okay.
yeah, it's a Swedish company. It's really really good. Like
I'll,
yeah,
I'll
I've
have to look
tried.
into that.
Yeah, I have tried like other bars. People ask me, okay, what kind of bars do you eat? Like, and I'm so I feel so sad for you guys that you don't have this. It's really good.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, and the thing is, I don't think we have a lot of bars that you guys have outside.
Yeah.
Because
We
when
have
I
like
was in England like 2 years ago, uh, and I was looking for protein bars, and I was like, Aki, I didn't. So instead I had this yogurt made of Arla, which is like it's a Swedish brand,
right. Okay.
and it's getting like more and more. So I'm so happy that they were in England, so I had that one, and
Yeah.
it was like 30 grams of protein. I was like, I'm done.
That'll do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we tend to have the same few companies for protein bars and things. Like Grenade's a big one,
Oh,
um,
okay.
which is like
Yeah,
them
we don't
sort of
have it
ones.
here.
Grenade's
Never
really
had it.
nice though. Like the protein bars themselves aren't like tasty as in you can tell that it's a protein bar. It's
Hmm.
just the variety of flavors they have. So they've
Oh,
got
okay.
like Oreo, like cookies and cream. They've got birthday
Oh,
cake one.
okay.
They've got
Yeah.
like so many flavors which sort of make
Hmm.
up for it.
Yeah.
Um, how many like calories and what's like your? like intake on that side of things. What how much do you weigh now roughly?
Right now I weigh 82.5.
Right, okay. I'm gonna
Uh,
quickly Google that into stone because
oh, yeah.
82.5 kg into stones and pounds. Oh, you. So roughly 13 stone, 12 stone, 13 stone, 12 stone, 12.
Yeah, exactly. 13 stone. Yeah. And my calorie intake is 2,500.
Okay. Yeah.
So right now I'm on a diet. I just
Right.
started this week, or yeah, Monday, and I'm gonna go down to, my goal is 74.9 kilos because I want to be under 75 kilos, and that will be 11.7 stone.
Flipping hell, but to have that mass, that's very lean.
Yeah, I want to
That
get lean. Last year I was down at 74 kilos, and I was very happy with how I looked. But now hopefully I put on some muscles. That's why my goal is a little bit higher now,
yeah.
because hopefully I put on some muscle during this off season.
Yeah, no, that is very lean indeed.
Yeah. But the
Especially
thing is,
considering your lifts.
yeah, that's true. But then again, but the thing is, my joints aren't very big. Like, no, not joints, like bone structure,
Yeah, yeah,
there are some people that are like, their hands, and they're it's like huge, pare,
yeah, yeah,
and I don't have that. I think I have, like, I've gone after my dad, and he's the same, like, all, it's not very heavy. And I would say that's why, because when people look at me, they're like, you're not 75 kilos. Like,
yeah,
when I'm leaned out and they see my muscle, it's like, it's no, well, because when they look, I look much bigger than what I weigh.
yeah.
And my only like thinking is that, okay, it can only be this, that, like, same thing is with my ankles. They're like, my calves, they're really, like, the bone is really small. So I think that's the thing, why I don't weight that much.
It's probably because when you look at pictures, especially like on your Instagram, your muscle seems very dense. Like your muscle seems really thick. So
Yeah,
probably that's what makes you look bigger than your weight
could be,
suggests.
could be.
Um, but that's always a good thing, I guess. Do you know what I mean? It's not a bad
Yeah, I
thing.
mean, I don't mind, because the thing is, the good part of being not so heavy is that, my, like, handstand push-ups, I can go on, muscle ups, pull-ups, I'm just flying up and down.
Yeah, yeah,
uh and so for that, I do, because I remember when I went up to like 90 kilos. I was there once, and I was playing football. I just felt like my knees and hips didn't, like, it didn't move with me like the way I wanted to.
yeah,
Like, when I was running, that was fine. Then I had made speed. When I was going to stop, I just felt like knees and hips were like continuing, and my foot were like. I just felt like, okay, this weight isn't for me. Like, I just, you can just feel what's right for you and what's not. And I just felt like, okay, I'm not supposed to be here. So I just feel like around 80 kilos, 79, 80 kilos right now is where I feel like that I look good, and where I perform.
yeah,
And if I go up more than that, I do only performance, I get stronger, but the looks, I'm not like super happy with the way. I never like to be bulky. Like, that's just not my thing. So yeah, 74.9, that will be good.
yeah.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, but you're documenting that on your Insta story at the moment. Like
Yeah.
you've got highlights
Yeah, exactly.
on Guard 4.0.
Yeah.
Um, getting into social media is so when you became a personal trainer, you started posting just for your PRs, as we talked about before,
Yeah.
like as a PR diary. What sort of made the switch to taking well, basically Instagram more seriously? Like, obviously, you mentioned there that you wanted to get picked up by like some of the bigger brands like Gymshark
Mm,
and things like that. But
yeah.
what led to the just posting my PRs to actually I want to get sponsored? Like, when did you start taking it more seriously, and why?
first, when I started to see that my Instagram was growing more and more, and people got interested in what I do, what I eat, and stuff like that. And then when I start to realize that I'm actually at a very high level of training, like
Mhm.
when I start to compare myself and look around and be like, okay, so what is my competition? What is it like other people do that I can't do, or the other way around? And then I started to realize, like, okay, I'm not far behind, or am I really behind? Like I'm right in the middle. Uh, so that's actually where I took the step to go out of my comfort zone as well. I used to train in a gym here close by my home, but I was like, okay, if I want to be something, I need to go up to a place where there's already people that has become something. So I went to another gym, to a CrossFit gym, because I was interested at CrossFit at that time as well. So I was like, okay, this is perfect. And at that gym, you had like all top level people, like here in Sweden, like fitness profiles at high level. They were training there, and I started to train there, and I could see like at some parts, some exercise, I was actually stronger than them. I was better than them at some, and not as good at some. So I was just realizing, okay, I'm not far behind. And then they offered me a job there to be a coach, like hold CrossFit classes. Even though I don't have a CrossFit, um, you need to have a CrossFit license to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
able to teach. I was like, you know that I don't have this, and they were like, do you think you need that? Do you? And I was like, okay, chalo. So I started to work there. So that's when I realized, okay, that I have become something that, and I'm much better than I think that I am. And that's where I started, okay, because everyone around you were focusing on their Instagram, posting pictures and making, like, I took picture of the helping them take a picture for their profile, and I was like, okay, time for you guys to do the same for me.
Yeah.
And so I become one of them, and grew my channel more and more.
Yeah, it's that's often like the way to do it is I think back in the day as well, it was a lot easier to grow on like Instagram. Like now it's a bit
Yeah,
more saturated.
yeah, now
Um
it's impossible.
yeah, yeah, like I was okay following back in the day as well, but I stopped my personal account for like fitness training and things like that. But back in the day you do like one or two fit farm hashtags and boom, there you go.
Yeah, it
You
was
get
done.
that
Yeah.
was it.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically. And now the thing, now they want you to do Instagram TV, they want you to do stories, they want you to post like 5 times a day.
Now reels like TikToks.
Yeah, reels. Yeah, reels now. Look, I don't even know because I'm like, that's too much.
Exactly.
So I'm just, I'm right now, I'm having Instagram mainly for fun, like
Yeah,
post whatever I want on my stories. I have my photography just for my interest. That's something I love to do.
yeah,
And right now I was like, okay, people want to follow my diet and they want to see result and they want to get help, so I'm going to share that as well. But mainly what I'm focused on, and right now what I would tell everyone that's want to get into social media, is that focus on YouTube,
hmm,
because YouTube is a platform that actually helps you to grow, because they recommend your videos.
yeah,
Like when you post something on Instagram, if they don't like it, that picture is gone forever. But if you post a video, what will happen is that if you watch someone else's video that's somehow close to your video, YouTube will recommend it.
yeah, yeah,
And that way you get help from YouTube to get more followers. And I just realized, like, my you like my YouTube exploded. My Instagram, sorry. Like at one point I had like 3,000 followers, and then boom, someone shared my video where I did that one arm snatch. I don't know if you have seen that. I
okay.
did it with one arm and 65 kilos, and
Wow.
that just went viral. Like every Punjabi Sikh masala ah bada masala ah, they shared it, and I was like, damn. And so it grew and grew, and so from 3,000, like, up to like 10,000, I think, in like 1.5 years, something like that. So it went really fast. And from that, like, maybe that was maybe 3 4 years ago, I'm still on the same, like, Otenya, like
Yeah, yeah,
12,000, something like that. But my YouTube is consistent. It's like every month is increasing by through 2 or 300. Like
Mhm.
every month, no matter if I post or don't post, it because my videos are still going round and round. People are still watching them.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's why I'm like, okay, I should have started YouTube like way back, because that's actually something that helps you. And so that's where my main focus is right now.
But I feel like that's similar to what we were speaking before. Is like the consistency, isn't it? It's very
Yeah, for
easy for
sure.
you to just blow up on Instagram overnight. Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean? And go from a 3,000 to 10,000 followers. But
yeah,
YouTube seems to be more of like a consistent and
exactly.
more disciplined, should I say?
Yeah,
Like a bit more of a grind.
exactly.
Um, do do you do online coaching as well, don't you?
Yeah,
Do you feel like that was another reason to sort of hammer social media because then you can reach people all over the world? Like,
yeah, for sure. For sure. That was one of the things. Like it was easy to me because I needed to look like, okay, where are my main audience?
mhm.
And my main audience is from UK, Canada, Australia, India,
All the
Canada.
countries were mentioned at the
Yeah,
beginning where all the things
yeah,
are.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And it's not Sweden, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
So I was like, okay, so they are the people that want my help. How can I help them? And best way is online coaching. And that's really convenient for me. Okay, I love to stay home and work, and like I love to be able to work at my own hours. And so yeah, it was just a really good deal.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It is a good gig, to be fair. I keep on going to my friend who's here, and he does a lot of online coaching.
Hmm.
Even then, like it is still a lot of hard work, but at
Yeah, for
least you
sure.
can do it remotely. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to
Yeah.
get out of bed at 6 o'clock in the morning to PT somebody down at the gym. You can
Yeah,
sort of,
exactly.
it's a bit of flexibility.
Yeah.
A question is sort of relating a bit to mental health is
Mm,
that with social media, especially in the fitness space,
mm,
is that because your income through like online training and thing is directly you're the brand, yeah.
yeah.
Onkar Singh's physique is the brand. Do
Mm,
you ever feel pressure to stay in shape? Neta loki hor kitin chalna. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. Not really, because I feel like okay, Loki किसी और पासे चल जाओगे. Not really that, but I do motivate myself because of that, because I feel like okay, I need to stay in shape because people are getting motivated from me and inspired by me.
Yeah.
And and so yeah, that is a thing that motivates me for sure, but it's not nothing that defines me, nothing that's like I need to do that always, I will lose my things,
Hmm.
because especially for YouTube, I feel like my audience over there doesn't really care about my physique.
It's
Like
more about your
whenever I post,
personality.
yeah, exactly, whenever I post something about my training, like the views is drops, like no one cares. But as soon as I talk about what I think, Siki, uh, my opinions, then people watch like the whole video, and they
Yeah.
come back to me. They DM me and like, okay, I like what you said, this and that. So I'm really happy that actually they like Unkar and not Unkar. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
if you get what I mean. So and I was always try to be very very open on my Instagram as well. Not being, not showing what people want to see rather than show what I want them to see. Unkar kaun hai?
Yeah. Yeah.
And and that's why I never let people to um I never let the audience decide what I should do. Like okay, maybe I should post this picture instead and it will give me more likes, or maybe I should do that. Of course it's in back of my mind, like what will get more likes, of course, otherwise
Yeah.
I wouldn't be where I am today. But that is not my main has always be that I'm gonna be Unkar, and if you like it, I like you back. If you don't like it, find someone else.
Yeah.
So
And
that
you can see
has
that you're quite open as well. Like another thing with social media is that a lot of people's opinions can be directly fed straight into your inbox. Do you know what I mean? Like recently you did the picture without your bag on and you had
Yeah,
your hair down and
yeah,
you got like a bit of backlash from that, but you were quite public and just like screenshotted the messages that you're
yeah,
receiving
yeah,
and things like that.
yeah.
Which is the other thing that I was like alluding to before was like the the mental health aspect linked to social media is it's not healthy in the sense that that many people can have an opinion on something that they only see a snapshot of. They
Yeah,
only see the
exactly,
picture. They don't
exactly.
see the reason why you're posting it. They don't see
Yeah,
the day that went into it. They don't see
ex-
anything. They just see that picture and then boom, their opinion can come into it.
exactly, exactly. And I'm just, I could have, I didn't have to do it. It will save me a lot of problems. It
Mhm.
will save me a lot of time. But I just feel like somehow someone needs to ask these questions and make someone think twice.
Yeah,
And I don't know if this helped anyone or anything, but a lot of people were agreeing with me. And in that way, I do believe that I did something good because people feel like, yeah, okay, so I'm not wrong for doing this. It's not,
yeah.
I shouldn't feel, because a lot of people, be, listen, okay, it was one time I remember, um, I was at I was at a smagam, like a kirtan program,
Mhm.
and I was gonna do my damala, and I have a kanga in my where I was doing my kanga, and then I was going to do a gutti, and I had a chola on, and you don't have a pockets in a chola,
Yeah,
and I had my kanga, and I was like, what should I do with this? So I put it in my mouth. Okay, not like eating it up, I had it like on my lips,
yeah. Just to
like,
hold it.
yeah. And then a Singh went by and he was like, Singh, don't put it in your mouth. Your mouth is ganda, like suchaniya,
Hmm.
and put it in your pockets or something. And I was like, oh, yeah, 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 for sure, for sure. And just I don't remember what I did with that. And at that, this was maybe I was like 15 or 16, something like that. And I was really thinking about it, and I was like, we're saying that everything is a part of, like your kakar is a part of your and it now. I would question him right now. I would be like, what are you talking, like, you're wearing a kashara, you know
Yeah,
what you do in your kashara,
yeah.
right? You take a piss, you fart, and that's your kashara. Like, should I mention that and be like, hey, tenu sharm nahi aandi?
Well, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like, if you want to compare it like that, and and uh, and I get it, like, don't put it in your mouth because, yeah, it get wet or whatever. But it was like a thing that that just on top of another just make it more strict. If I
yeah,
put everything, okay, don't put that in your mouth, don't show anyone your hair, uh, and a lot of don't. At the end of the day, people will get like, okay, what can I do,
yeah, yeah.
Hannah?
That's it.
And in Sikhi and in our community is so much "Edanikana, don't do this, Edanikana." And the reason behind that is like, there's no reason behind that. There's
Yeah,
there's just no logic behind that. It just like changa nahi lagada. And you know
ex-
what? I don't care about your changa nahi lagada. Like,
yeah,
I don't care about what you think is right or don't. And that is what I'm trying to make a stand for. Like, I won't let anyone to tell me anything. And there, like, with the hair thing, you know I, i'm I have a strong opinion that you shouldn't go anything anywhere without your turban, without your dastar. Like, for me, it's not like you can leave your kakar and then go anywhere else. For me, it's like everything should be so close at you that if you need to go right this moment, you don't have to think twice, like, do I have everything with me,
yeah,
right? Because saying should be tiyar par tiyar. That's like, we know that, Hana.
yeah,
That's nothing that's shocking. Oh, really? We got the kakar just because of that reason, that whenever you have to go somewhere, you can go and you can survive. So what is the thing you need? You have your you have your kirpan to defend you and yourself, you have your kanga to make sure your hair isn't everywhere, you have your turban to fix your hair. Again, your hair is not everywhere, and you show everyone that you're a Sikh. You have your kushara. Obviously, you don't want to run out naked.
Yeah.
Hana, you have your kara to remind you that God is always with you. So that's for me like five reasons. They should always be with you because they were given to you. And so when I posted that pictures, I also had my keski tied around my kamar like a kamar kas. That's all. That's what I usually do because otherwise, where should I put it? So I
Mhm.
always had it on me, and I was like, okay, maybe people think before they speak, they see, okay, he has Sernata, he has the star on him, and he's waiting for it. But no, Firvi people were like, you shouldn't do that, and I was like, are you serious?
That's
you
it.
know? Yeah,
But
and
it's similar to the uncle who said don't put it in your mouth at that time. Like I think people enjoy telling other people what they can and can't do.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And it's always the vocal minority.
mm,
There's that many people who agreed with you, but if people didn't disagree with you,
mm.
would then people have agreed with you? If that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I agree with you, I'm probably not going to say anything.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just going
That's
to
true.
look at it and I'm just going to be like, oh yeah, teak, yeah. And
Yeah,
then, but it's the vocal minority, the people who disagree always seem to be the ones who will
that
message.
talks the most.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
most. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It is. I say this a lot on this, like on previous episodes. I feel like the and this isn't just for Sikhi, this is for every religion. The culture and the religion are
Mm.
separate. Like
Yeah.
the religion is what it should be,
Mm.
and the culture is what Loki make it.
Yeah.
Now, like the essence of it is really simple.
Yeah.
Most religions are the same in that aspect. Like,
Yeah. For
be
yeah. Yeah.
nice
Yeah.
to people,
Exactly.
don't kill anybody. Do you know what I mean? Most of
Yeah.
them are
Yeah.
like
It's the
things
most
that people
basic things.
understand, but
Yeah.
then people get involved and try to make it more
Mm.
complicated than it is.
Yeah.
But it is a very weird topic because again, like I imagine most of these people, if they seen you at the gym,
Yeah.
they wouldn't say anything.
No. 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 Probably not.
They
They would
probably
want
ask
to
for a
take a
photo.
picture or
Yeah,
something.
exactly,
Yeah. Most likely.
exactly.
And yeah, I don't really get it. Like, why do you always need to focus on don't do this, don't do that? What you know, y- you have everyone has their own journey, right?
Yeah,
Everyone is gonna die eventually, and what's life is about is right here and right now. It's not about afterlife. It's not about before and after. It's about right here and right now, and do whatever you can to feel good about yourself. That's that's what life is about. Be happy with yourself, accept others, and most of all accept yourself for who you are.
yeah, 100%. Couldn't agree more. More recently, going back to the social media topic, that was a
Yeah.
nice little tangent.
Yeah.
More recently, you took a break off social media.
Yeah.
What was the reasoning behind that, if you don't mind me asking?
No. I made a YouTube video for that as well. If someone want to see, they can go. Like, it's a little bit longer than what I will say now. But mainly is that I just felt like I didn't have any balance anymore. Balance, like I didn't have any time off social media.
Right.
Social media should be like you have your time from, well, like a work time. You have your 9 to 5. But for me, it was like I could, when it was time to chill and to watch a movie or something, I still had my phone in my hand, answering DMs, checking someone, commenting, and I at the same time I was watching the movie,
Yeah.
and I just felt like this is not healthy. Like, I really want to I really want to watch this movie, but I still have my phone in my hand. And so that's like one of the many reasons. And but that's mainly it, that I just felt like, okay, I need to find a balance between, I can't answer, because like since I started, I haven't skipped a single DM.
Hmm.
Like since I started this Instagram, like the only one I have skipped has been the weird ones. Like whoa, I don't want to get into that. That has been like block and delete straight away. But if someone, and the shout outs, like if people like Baji so shout out karte, I make, I can't help everyone, and people would get tired of me giving shout out to random people, and so that's the only one that I haven't answered. But other than that, every fitness question, every question about me, about Sikhi, about, I answer everything. And that's why I'm telling you this is actually because I'm proud of this. So
Yeah,
that's why
yeah,
I'm telling you this, because I know that a lot of people have like 100 unread DMs, but for me, you will only find like the one that is like spam. That's the only one. Otherwise, I have opened them all. And but that's also where I went too far with that. I get into conversations. Like I started to talk about life with a random guy,
yeah,
you know, and then another one, and then another one. I want to help, and that just becomes too much, and I start to live in the phone instead of live in the reality. And I felt like I need to back off for personal reasons because what was happening at that time, and for this reason. And I just find like the best opportunity is right now to back off and come back when I feel stronger.
yeah, definitely. I feel like that is a theme, especially in this last year with like the virus and things going around, is
Mm.
that people can't go out and they can't see X, Y, and Z, so they spend more time virtually, and
Yeah.
then they sort of lose touch with reality and things. Do you
Mm.
know what I mean? Like living it within your phone. I say this often, like the benefits of social media are apparent because there are benefits
Yeah,
and they are
for
very
sure.
obvious benefits,
Mm.
but the drawbacks, the bad
Mm.
things, they're not as obvious.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? They're a bit more
Yeah.
subtle. They take their toll, but in a very um subtle sort of way, just not as
Yeah.
obvious. Like it's
Yeah.
easy just to say like
Like you realize what happened after it happened, and then you
exactly.
be like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It takes its toll, like it's not healthy.
Mm.
Which is why like growing up without social media for like people of our age
Mm.
is probably you can see the balance. Do you know what I mean? You can see pre
Yeah.
and post, you can
Yeah.
compare it. Whereas
Yeah.
kids now, like
They can't.
they can't, and you feel
Yeah.
sorry because some parents will just give them TikTok.
Yeah.
The amount of kids that are on TikTok, like
Yeah.
it'll just be like, "Child, go play for an hour," and
Mm.
you just an hour of continuously
Mm.
scrolling up and up and up and
Yeah.
up, and then you don't know what's real. And all these
Mm.
TikToks are meant to catch your attention. They're so
Yeah.
over the top.
Yeah,
And
that's what they want.
exactly, if you think that's
Mm.
reality, then that kid's not gonna know what reality is until it hits them in the
Exactly.
face.
Yeah, exactly.
But with your
Yeah.
time off, you've also spent a lot of time, I think, improving Chakde as well.
Yeah, I worked on like the back end of Chakde. So thinking about a lot how to expand it, how to work with it, because right now I'm doing everything by myself,
Right.
and you can't really go so far with being by yourself and do all the paperwork and all the shippings and stuff like that. So I'm trying to figure out how I can do that. And right now, because of Corona, I have so many orders that I can't send right now because they haven't got anything from their back end. So everyone is waiting for each other to get everything so we can start again. But I have some products at home that I'm selling right now that I have on my website. I just opened it last week. Um, so I got a few orders that I'm gonna send out during this week. Uh, but yeah, I really want to focus more on Chakde, and I'm thinking like the more I can grow my YouTube, the more I can grow Chakde, and
Mhm.
at the same time, I can. That's basically my audience. My audience is online, and the before Corona, I had this idea that I'm gonna travel more,
Yeah.
and have like yeah, and have this like maybe I can do like training camps for people where they can join just for a few days or maybe a 1 hour or something, just get to know people. And because being like if I was in UK or in Canada, I think that my brand would be much bigger,
Hmm.
because it's easier for me to connect to people. Now I'm here, and everything I can do is only with social media.
Yeah.
And I want to go to camps. I want to do Sikhi stuff and talk and inspire and motivate, motivational speaker or whatever, because I know that that's something I can do. And I will talk. I actually talk a lot of people with a lot of people with this. I was thinking about going to Malaysia and do this kind of talk, to US. So I think it's possible that I will do it in the future when it's possible, obviously.
Hmm.
Um, but right now, I'm trying to just grow my channels the as best as I can, and I think the more my YouTube, Instagram will grow, the more Chakde will grow. So that is my plan right now.
Yeah, definitely. I think the good thing about like Jacqueline and growing it is that the blueprint's there, dude. I mean, there's been other fitness lifestyle brands from social media. We mentioned Gymshark before.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if you're familiar with Alpha Elite, which is
yeah,
Christian Guzman.
yeah.
Like the blueprint
He's
is there.
amazing, man. He's amazing what he has done.
Yeah, yeah. He was one of my first inspirations getting into the gym. He was one of the first like social media people that I started watching, like YouTube
Mm,
videos and things like that.
mm.
Um but yeah, like the clothing brand that he's grew from that, and he was with Gymshark originally, and then he was like, "Oh, I actually want to make my own thing," which
Oh,
is super
was he?
cool.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
back in the day, so when maybe 2012, 2013ish,
Oh, okay.
he was with Gymshark. He was one of their athletes,
Uh-huh.
sponsored by them and all that. He was with his girlfriend is still, I believe, with Gymshark. Nikki Blacketer, I think her name.
Yeah, I
I
know.
don't know how to say it, last name.
Yeah. She's
Um,
still with Gymshark, right?
she's still with Gymshark, yeah.
Yeah.
But they were together at the time, and both of them were sponsored.
Oh,
And
okay.
then eventually, he basically wanted to grow his own thing, which was
Mm,
Alpha Elite. And then Holly, that's grew as well, and
yeah.
they've
But
got people
that's
all
the
over.
thing. He already had a huge following
Yeah,
when he started with Alpha League.
yeah, yeah,
And that's the difference with him and me, that I don't have that huge following yet.
yeah,
So I can't, like, it's not enough for me that to, just focus on Chuck Day right now.
yeah.
uh,
True.
for me, I feel like I have to grow it more. And right now I'm not as famous that I would like it to be.
Yeah,
And so when I get there, then I think like, okay, now I can full time work on Chakde and finding ambassadors all over the world, and you
yeah,
go the way that Christian Guzman went.
yeah.
But I just feel like right now I'm not there. uh, but I know that one day I will be.
Because that's what I was gonna ask. Have you ever thought about like finding ambassadors and things? Because I think with Gymshark as well, the owner of Gymshark, he's obviously was in all the business magazines last year because he was when he went sold his majority shareholder. I think it was like £1 billion company. It's
Oh,
valued
okay.
at now. Yeah, so it was
Yeah.
a really big success story in England because
Mm.
he went from pizza delivery boy to $1 billion company CEO or whatever, and
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
the headlines. But no one really knew who he was. He
Mm.
was the man behind the scenes, but he
Mm.
just had the eye to get the product into the right people's hands,
Mm.
and then that's how it sort of grew
Yeah.
from that. Because I'm pretty sure every single athlete that he has had as an ambassador was probably 10 times more famous than he was.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Gymshark is the thing that is he wanted to grow more than his own personal sort of
Mm.
marketing. But
Yeah.
everyone has their own different way to do it. It's just interesting to
Mm.
see because, as I say, I've done maybe I think this is episode 20, and
Mm.
maybe 7 or 8 of these have been fitness related.
Oh, okay.
So like either with personal trainers, bodybuilders,
Mm.
physiotherapists, anything to do with sort of fitness, because
Mm.
I have a passion myself. And the recurring theme is most of, everyone, bar one, has been Sikh or
Yeah.
Punjabi
Mm.
or of Punjabi origin. So there definitely is like an industry there. There's, as we mentioned before, pages like Sikh Muscle.
Mm.
Shout out to them because they do an amazing job of
Yeah.
highlighting
Yeah.
how many up and are into fitness.
Mm.
So there definitely is like an audience, and there definitely is an abundance of people who could be ambassadors maybe one day for Chakde.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Mm.
Um, what I like to do at the end of each episode is
Yeah,
we said it before, is the same 5 questions. I
yeah.
just need to get this little folder out that has all these 5 questions down. You would think that I ask the same 5 every day, every time, that I would probably know them off by heart now, but just to make sure. Um, the number one is, what are you most proud of?
Most proud of. Oof. Damn. Uh, most proud of. Man, that's a hard question.
It doesn't get easier. It doesn't get
Yeah,
easier.
because the thing is, this is one of the bad things about me is that I never get satisfied with anything.
Mhm.
And that's wrong. Like you should be satisfied and be proud of yourself. But yeah, well, where I am today, I have to say that I'm actually most happy with what person that I have become. I'm actually proud of who I am as a person. And yeah, I'm
That's a good
gonna
answer.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna end it there.
Number two is, what are you most looking forward to?
I'm gonna get married this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So
Congratulations.
yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
It's
If he
gonna
didn't
be
say
like,
that, the missus wouldn't be very
oh,
happy.
she will be. Ahmet and No, but I just feel like it's a right time, and I feel like I'm ready for it, and that's yeah, I I that kind of the life that I want right now.
What is your biggest motivation?
Uh, yeah, the thing is, I've always been my own motivation, like for even for gym and stuff like that. I always, like I said with the Instagram, I had my own PRs which I wanted to be better at and stuff like that. So of course I have people that inspire me, but what motivates me to be better is myself. I always want to be the better I was than yesterday. And that's the mindset I have every time I go inside the gym. I'm like, I want to be better than I were yesterday at the gym, and as a person as well, because I believe that that's how you grow as a person. As soon as you think that you know it all, that's the time you basically failed. But as long as you feel like you want to know something more and learn something, that's how you're gonna grow, and that's how you're gonna be successful. So I would say that that's what motivates me.
Number four is, what is your definition of success?
Uh, you have good questions, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, like I think this is a very personal question,
Yeah,
and I think everyone has their own view in success.
that's why I ask it.
Yeah, yeah. And for me, right now, my success would be if Chakde is where I want it to be. Uh, so right now, my full focus is actually on work. Like that's where my thinking is going. My thinking goes to YouTube. I want to grow it. I want to have like the 100,000, to get that,
Your
thingy,
plaque.
YouTube thingy. Yeah, I
Yeah,
want it. I want
yeah.
it. That's something that motivates me, and and um. So yeah, that what was the question? What
What is your
success?
definition of
Def.
success?
Oh yeah, man. Um,
This is
that's
my
a
favorite part of the
oh
podcast because I just look at people like trying to think of these amazing answers.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
so
No,
interesting.
yeah. It's hard because my definition, like, I was thinking like, oh, to get money first. I was thinking, yeah, to get money, be to be stable and stuff like that. But then I was thinking, is that really it? Is that really what I want?
Hmm.
Uh, and this is a hard one, man. I don't know if I can answer this one.
It isn't bad, to be fair, to say money is a thing, because like some people will think like, oh yeah, it's quite materialistic, but at the end of the day, like I think on one of the previous podcasts somebody said, I want money so that my family is stable.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So is that finance is your definition of success, or is your family being happy your definition of success? Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's the
Like,
thing. That's
so
the thing.
it depends. Like the people who will see the negative will see, oh, he's just greedy. But the people
Hmm.
who will see the positive will be like, that's a beautiful thing that he just wants
Yeah, exactly.
his family to be happy.
Hmm.
So you can take it like it's
Yeah,
it's such a personal question.
yeah, in that case, like what I would say is the definition of success is that if you're happy with yourself, I believe like you're not responsible either to make your family happy or to make your missus happy. Like if you're happy, like andro, like dilon, you're truly happy,
Hmm.
then no matter how much money you have and how whatever you have or not have won't really matter. If you're happy, I believe that yeah, I would say that's the definition of of my success. And right now I don't feel happy. Why? Because I'm not there with my YouTube, I'm not there with my Chakde, I'm not there with financially, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
so it's a little bit of what you said actually. And so yeah,
Work in progress.
it's
Last
a
but
work
not
in
least,
progress for
yeah.
sure.
So last but not least, because it's the KultureKast podcast, how do you think your culture has affected you thus far?
uh yeah, the thing is, the thing with the culture, I think like Chakde is built from the culture,
Yeah.
Hannah. And I don't have much, like I'm not very, I'm a Sikh, and I stand like very, I'm not close to like cultural stuff. I'm not close, like I live in a Western world,
Mhm.
and we're not very familiar to that kind of stuff. But at the same time, that's what made me who I am today, like the culture.
Yeah.
My mom and dad are Punjabi, they're straight from India. So I am, because I am the one of like the person I am today has to do a little bit also about the culture. So obviously it's a big part of who I am.
It's not just the Punjabi culture, but your Swedish culture as well. How does that play a part in who you
A
are today?
lot, a lot. I actually see myself more as a Swedish person than an Indian.
Yeah.
And that's actually funny because I have friends that are from Chile and Iraq, and they're all I always like, we always kid about, Chilean and Iraqi, and we always, and they try to do the Indian stuff, and I'm like, hey, I'm Swedish. you know I see myself as Swedish because I'm born and raised here, and my behavior is like Swedish people, when
Yeah.
the way we say hi to each other, the way we talk, it's Swedish. And so yeah, it has affected me a lot as well, for sure.
Yeah, that's why I asked that question, is because most of the people who I have on are um Punjabis who aren't living in Punjab. Do you know what I mean? So you obviously like sing, but you're living in Sweden. The Swedish
Yeah,
sing.
yeah.
But like it's how both cultures, like for me, when I ask the question, how do you think your culture, I put emphasis on your,
Mm,
because it's your individual culture. It's the all these things that sort of are an amalgamation to what you are today. It
mm,
is the Indian background, it is the Swedish background, it's the Iraqi friend, the Chilean friend.
mm.
Do you know what I mean? All of these things play a part
Of the
for,
culture,
but
of who
it's,
I
yeah,
am.
yeah, it's your culture.
Yeah, for
That's why
sure.
everyone's answers are always going to be different, because everyone has a different background.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
That it was a really good conversation. I really enjoyed it. I
Really
hope,
good, man.
yeah,
We have to do it again.
yeah, definitely, definitely. We will do a catch up.
Yeah.
All of your socials will be linked and all that below.
Yeah, for
Do
sure.
you want to say anything before we finish, or
No, not really. I'm actually gonna start a podcast my own.
yeah,
Yeah, and I'm gonna call it Chill with Unkar. And my goal with that is basically just chill with me. So I'm just gonna talk with people,
yeah,
and I'm probably gonna talk to you.
yeah? I'll come on. I'd love to.
Yeah, and I just want it to be like it's just gonna be random. Not it's the, we're just gonna take a topic, talk about it, and then finish it. So that's gonna be something that I look forward to as well.
And I look forward to it as well.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, again, thank you for your time so much. This
for
has been really
sure.
dope, and
Yeah.
I feel like this might actually be episode one of Chill with and God because it was very chilled vibes. You know what I mean? It was really relaxed.
No, that's nice.
It was really really relaxed.
Yeah, it's funny because when you said in the beginning, you were like, "Yeah, so put your pug on, yeah, do everything,"
Yeah.
and I was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna have my Louis on." It's cold here in Sweden, so
Yeah, I can imagine. I can
yeah,
imagine.